Hey there. You know, empowered living is within your reach. Now, you may say, well, what exactly is empowered living anyway? What's an empowered life? I hear you asking, and you know I've got some answers. Hi, I'm Dr. Geneva, vibrant life coach, leadership strategist, and lover of all things community. In today's conversation, I've invited a special guest to help us explore this subject about doing good for yourself, in the community, with others. You know, this whole concept of the things that you can do and contribute, I believe, is all part of that empowered lifestyle, that vibrant life. So I want to explore the ins and outs of that and really get to the core of why it matters to uh, mm, do good, do good in the community, do good for others, and to really figure out about this what's called boomerang effect. Have y'all heard about that? This boomerang effect. Now, I ain't talking about, that boomerang feature that you use on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is. I ain't talking about that. Okay. I am really talking about what happens when you extend yourself and you do good with and for others. That the secret is you really get back more than you give. At least that's what I believe. But we're going to have a conversation about it with my very good friend who's joining us today. So I know there's been buzzing all around about, Tanya Hill coming on and being part of Ignite to Impact. But I want to tell you, in the early days when I started Ignite to Impact, and you all remember that I started my podcast, and it was audio then. And I started it soon after my husband, Otha, had passed. And I was going through, that drama and grief, and I had lost my voice. And I really wasn't talking, speaking, advocating, and doing my community thing that for many years I had been so entrenched in doing. And one of the ways that I reinvented myself was to step outside of a comfort zone and begin to talk to leaders and innovators and inspirational people. Is there such a word as inspirators? But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Inspirational people from all across the country in a podcast I called Ignite to Impact. Because I felt that each of us who has impact or an influence on the community has something inside that ignites them, that empowers them, that gives them the spark. And also, I was trying to rediscover my spark. So that's why I called the show Ignite to Impact. And one of my very first guests was Tanya Hill. I'm going to ask if she remembers that conversation. But if you don't know this sister, listen. She is the creator and founder of Forever Fresh, which is a line of disposable undergarments for adults and children. And the products are sold by national distributors to schools in 19 states. And they are also used by the Spectrum Health Hospital in Grand Rapids, Michigan. But also, Tanya doesn't stop there. She also has other business ventures, specifically at Detroit Metro Airport. And she and her partners own and operate a mix of local national and international brands, including The Economist, P.F. Chang's, Longhorn Steakhouse, Plum Market, Chick-fil-A. Y'all know these brands, we ain't playing up in here. We have the entrepreneur queen with us to talk about, this, an empowered life. And now, under her leadership, if you've been to the McNamara terminal at Detroit Metro Airport and heard that music, that live music from some of Detroit's top musicians, that's under Tanya's leadership. And she's received numerous awards for her entrepreneurial accomplishments, including the prestigious European Disposable and Non-Woven Association Award in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, I had to bring that to you. Tanya is a Detroit girl. She graduated from University of Detroit. She's been in the Leadership Detroit program through the Chamber of Commerce. She's president emeritus of the National Association of Women Business Owners here in Detroit, and a board member of the National Association. She's on the Oakland Schools Education Foundation, the Warriors Trust Fund, and she's the board chair of THAW, the Heat and Warmth Fund. And we're going to be talking about that. Tanya believes that whatever you do to inspire in life is attainable with faith and perseverance and willingness to continue. Okay, so I've given her enough play introduction. Y'all probably know about it anyway. She's nationally known and respected. Let's bring my girl Tanya on in here. Say good morning to you.
Good morning, Dr. Geneva. How are you?
I am doing just great. I am so delighted that you're here with us this morning. How you doing? So what's new with you?
Well, everything's new to me when I wake up in the morning, right?
All right. All right.
I start off with a fresh day. My philosophy is, okay, God, what do you have for me today? And who are you? Who do you want me to meet today?
Okay. So that's part of your morning routine.
Yes. Well, I really and truly start my morning off. I hope everyone has a something that guides them. My faith guides me, and I literally do not leave the house without reading my Bible every morning and saying my prayers. And, mind, body, and spirit, you have to keep everything in check, right? So I said, well, okay, God, while I'm down here praying, I may as well do some push-ups, right?
Okay. I love it.
So I get a few of those in, the girly kind, I get those in, and some sit-ups, and then I start my day. But I do not leave the house without that morning ritual that I do.
Okay, that's really good. I'm always fascinated by what successful folk do in the morning, because it does start their day. And I love it that you praying, and Kiara's joined us and has said amen to that. But I love this praying and the push-ups.
That I love it. I'm gonna remember that. That's gonna keep me focused, right? Keep me encouraged, because and I've gotten up to 82 now. So I started off, like 10 or 15. But consistency is what we need in life. And so I try to apply that to everything.
And I love what you said, because I think I heard you say you did a little at a time, but the key was being consistently doing a little at a time.
Exactly. Exactly. Until it becomes a habit.
Okay.
And so you want to build up good habits. And so for me, that morning prayer, those push-ups, sit-ups, those are my good habits. Yes. And so they carry me throughout the day.
Yes. And that throughout the day is a fabulous day for you. So what would you consider your lifestyle to be empowered?
Yes, it is. Entrepreneurialism has afforded me the opportunity to do what I really, really love. And that is, I remember when I was a little girl, I I prayed and I said, I want to be a teacher.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize, and in my mind back then, I thought, okay, I'm gonna have a classroom, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna be a traditional teacher.
Hmm.
And as my life evolved, I discovered that I am a teacher, but I do it through entrepreneurialism. I mentor, I support young people, young women, young business owners, and that is my teaching.
Hmm. Hmm. It's interesting that ans- when your response to the question of empowered meant and living an empowered life, your response was what you give back, that you
Yes,
teach.
yes,
'Cause teaching is a giving back act, I believe,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
it's so interesting. I wanted to be a teacher too because
Well, you
my
are.
mom, well, yeah, and then so you're right. I am, but growing up,
Right.
I wanted to be a teacher because my mom was a teacher and
Okay.
she was, just so excellent. And all the kids used to talk, you know how kids talk about teachers. Okay. Well,
Right.
every time the kids talked about my mom, it was always, they loved my mom. She was a great teacher. Well, at least around me. So maybe it was just around me they talked good, but she had a great reputation.
Well, that's
And so I
wonderful.
wanted to be a teacher
Yep.
until Tanya, I went and how you can practice teach and you go in the classroom and with elementary and I found that that didn't work for me. That kind of
Right. Right.
in the classroom teaching.
Right.
And it's like what you're talking about, that how you through your teaching you give back and that's
Yeah.
empowering for you. That's your
Absolutely.
empowerment. Yeah.
That's my boost. When I can see someone successful because of a nugget I've passed on or a contact, that I've passed on. I mean, that makes my day.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
really makes my day.
So how do you do that and be a successful entrepreneur? And is that important to entrepreneurship?
Y-
That
You
teaching?
know, for me personally, I mean, I love what I do, creating the undergarment, that in and of itself. Um, I remember God revealing that to me many, many years ago that it would be a healing cloth for women. I didn't understand
Mm,
it
mhm,
until I found myself taking care of my 98-year-old great grandmother. I moved her into my home at 98. I was married, a husband and 4 children, and a dog. So I moved her in with her dog. So now I have 2 dogs, right?
mhm.
And I took care of her for 7 years. She was almost 105 when she died.
Yeah.
And that experience taught me the value of that product.
Mhm.
And went through many other obstacles and challenges. As a matter of fact, my great grandmother outlived my mother and my grandmother.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so it was really tough letting her go, right?
Mhm, mhm,
But it taught me so much about giving
mhm,
and sacrifice.
mhm.
It taught my children. I mean, what child can say, hey, I got to spend 7 years with my great great grandmother?
Mm. Yes,
And
blessing.
so, I was glad that I was able to give them, that experience. But I think it taught me a lot of patience.
Mhm,
It taught me so many things about myself, about my product,
mhm,
and it really taught me why I really do what I do. I mean, it might sound, cliche, but this is how I really feel. I love my businesses. I love the fact that I can make money, but that's not what drives me. What drives me is that those tools give me the ability to do what I really love, and that's serve people.
mhm.
Dr. Geneva, Don't know how I do it, but thank God I have a very supportive husband. I'm remarried, have a
Okay.
wonderful husband. He's very supportive. I serve on 7 boards, and I'm
Mm,
active on all of them.
mhm.
I think, let me think clearly here. I think all but one, two, I think all but 3 directly affect children.
Okay. Mhm.
And
So that's where
so,
your passion is.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. But, and I love being able to, the entrepreneurialism, my jobs and my vocation gives me the opportunity to pursue more thoroughly my avocations. And
Okay.
so, that's what I love about being an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
I have a lot better control of my time.
Mhm, mhm. So the having control of your time, being able to do what you love doing, that's the driver. Those things drive, your business. I mean, why
They,
you
they,
got into business.
ironically, they do.
Mhm,
But that's not my focus.
mhm,
My focus is obviously I have a great team at the airport. I'm in a joint venture partnership um, with Parities Lagadiere. They are a national company, very large company. They have airport businesses uh, throughout the country.
mhm,
My partner Phil Pierce and I are their partners in Detroit. One
mhm,
of their partners in Detroit.
mhm,
And so that really gives me a great opportunity to spend my time with Thaw, for example,
mhm.
First Tee Greater Detroit, Detroit Children's Choir. All of those organizations mean a lot to me. As a matter of fact, the Detroit Children's Choir, it's not the Detroit Youth Choir.
Mhm.
This choir teaches children how to read music, gives them exposure to music. They do concerts as well. But for example, I am going to host them actually in the airport again this year.
Ooh.
And they're going to carol throughout the airport. And
Mhm,
the passengers, we did it pre-COVID, the
mhm,
passengers love it.
mhm.
And
Oh, I'm
it gives
sure.
these kids exposure. Some of the children, when we first did this, had never been in an airport.
Mhm, mhm,
So it
mhm,
gives me a way to give back uh, to these young people. First Tee Greater Detroit, I just started on that board, I think, last year. And our long term goal is to create a learning center for children. And it's interesting because when I first started Forever Fresh, my prayer was, God, I want to create a center for children where they can come and play and learn. And here I am, fast forward
mhm,
30 years later, involved in an organization that wants to do just that.
mhm,
And
mhm.
so I think when you really find your calling, find your passion, everything comes together in its time.
Mhm, mhm. And I love hearing the 30-year
Yeah,
journey,
yeah.
because during those times, I know as an entrepreneur, you faced all the ups and downs,
Oh, yeah.
challenges, obstacles that come with running your own business.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yet what you're talking about is all about how you're giving back and how, what you do for children. All of these things that are made possible. What do you think that's about? This relationship between running a business and giving back, this social value. Talk a little bit about that, and what's your perspective on being in business and being a philanthropist, a
I think
community leader.
for me, a business is a service.
Okay.
And I tell my children, I said, I always tell them, as long as you live, you're going to have to say yes, sir, no, sir to somebody. It's either going to be the IRS, it's going to be your boss, it's going to be somebody that you're going to have to answer to. For me, I answer to my employees.
Okay.
And I tell them, oftentimes I go in when we have a new orientation at the airport. I think we have about a little over 500 employees right now. And I tell them, I'm here to support you. I am not going to ask you to do anything for my business that I wouldn't do for myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I see paper on the floor, if I see something there, I'm going to pick it up. I expect you to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, a business is empowering other people to be able to thrive, to grow,
Okay.
and to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
And that in it of itself is a service. So if I can provide opportunity for other people through my business, or through the product we donate. And I want to talk a little bit about Forever Fresh and how I have parlayed that into making it something that you can give to others. Thaw, and I have to tell your viewers, you are one of the founders of Thaw.
Yes.
And so thank you for that.
Yes.
I just love it. And I was so honored when Santel asked me to serve as the new chair.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
And thank you. This is my second year, but I felt like, can I do it? And we all have those doubts, right?
Right.
But I love serving. She has been so wonderful to work with. We have an amazing board. And of course, Week of Warm Hearts is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an auction coming up. November 4th is our gala. And the VP asked me, well, we'd like for you to donate, because we're a sponsor, we're a table sponsor. And she said, we'd like for you to donate something to the auction. And I thought, donate underwear. That's going to be interesting. But you know what we did? I said, well, how about this? How about I donate 300 and someone can bid on them and they can donate them to their favorite charity. Mm-hmm. So then we wound up supporting two charities, at one time. Yeah. And so there are ways, I look for ways, creative ways to be able to give.
Yes.
And I like I said, I live to give and live to climb. I those two things really are the foundation of what I do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, I want to pause right here. I mean, there's so much you've said. I want to, on two pieces. Mm-hmm. One, I do want you to talk about how, and clearly you've been in business a long time. You're extremely successful, lot of hard work.
Yeah.
But for entrepreneurs at any point of their journey, how, in fact, can they contribute? What are some advice that you have in terms of that? So that's one question. But before we jump into that, because I want to just give a little context to the Thaw, the Heat and Warmth Fund.
You're a trailblazer on that, and we appreciate that.
The story behind that is I was at United Way in the time, and United Way has this, in fact, they still have it, this 211, where people dial in with various issues or problems. And in the 80s, 90s, we noticed that the highest number of calls came in about energy assistance or lack thereof, that people didn't have money to pay the utility bills, that their homes were cold, and stuff having to do with energy. So one of the things the United Way did was had a study, which they always did, brought all these people around the community to give input. And the upshot of that was to create an organization called the Heat and Warmth Fund to help people with their utility bills and help them with energy assistance. And the unique aspect, Tanya, about it in those days was that the utility companies were at the table with community people, social service agencies, other
Mm-hmm.
businesses, etc., as part of the process. And which is another thing about how when people from diverse places can come
Mm-hmm.
together and solve a common problem. So that's
Yeah.
how Thaw started. And yes, it was one of my projects. I was part of the study. I, supervised and managed the
Wow.
first director, the first program, and did that for many years. And, it's always been a special place in my heart. But to see how it has grown
Oh my
with the
gosh.
leadership of executive leader Jenkins and all, all,
Right.
all of that have, just has grown. And then your leadership and Thaw has helped hundreds and thousands of people.
Thousands of people. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, because of what you started, Thaw serves all 83 counties in Michigan.
Oh my gosh.
We
Oh
have
no, I
actually,
didn't know
yes,
that. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
and beginning November 15th, you'll be proud of this. We are starting My Water because, see, water is
Oh
now becoming a
yes.
huge challenge,
Yes.
a huge issue for many, many people. And we were able to get major support for that. And that initiative is going to be coming out next month.
Yes. And see, this is the power, I think, of community leadership, folk like yourselves being invested and getting involved. So talk a little bit about, that question that I had about how can entrepreneurs, people who are in business, get involved in their community and give back. And also talk a
Yeah.
little bit about what you think about that boomerang effect.
Well, I think the most important thing for entrepreneurs to do, a lot of times we feel like I have to be a millionaire before I can get involved. No, you don't. You need to be involved as you're building your business for
Ah,
two reasons. Number one, you never know who you're going to come across.
Tanya, let me just, I'm just looking
Okay.
for my plug to my laptop, which just popped up, but just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So you never know what support you might find as you're out helping other people. Number two, it gives you that energy. At least it does for me, and that inspiration to be able to continue your business. So I think it's critically important that you, um, as my philosophy said, I say lift as you climb. We don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. You might decide I'm going to wait until my business hits $10 million. Quite frankly, you might not even be here for that to happen. So I encourage people to do what you can while you can and while you have the strength and resources to do it. Okay, I think we lost you for 1 second.
Hey there. I'm going to pop right in for a second to say hello. I know that Dr. Geneva was really interested in hearing you talk about the boomerang effect. That's that when you shine light on others, it somehow finds its way to come back to you. Will you
Oh,
give us
absolutely.
a taste
Absolutely.
of how those experiences have gone for you over your lifetime of giving?
Wow. There's so many instances of that as I've started my business. So many people that I met when I first started. I'm actually serving on boards and helping other people with them now, and have been able to collaborate with them to help other people. So I think if we take the attitude of focusing on others first, everything I think we need our needs will be met. And I have had just some incredible opportunities come to me, and they may not even come from the person that you shared or supported. It could come from someone else. So I'm just trying to think of one amazing story. So when I first started Forever Fresh, I went to we didn't have internet and Facebook and all this stuff as we do today. I think we were using fax machines, and I met two women that were starting their business, and they helped me build my website. And the website attracted folks in China, and I got I got an email from a person in China, and I was really kind of reluctant, but at the time I needed to get manufacturing done offshore. That's just the way it was back then. And I eventually talked to this person in China, and I don't know how I had the courage to do it, but you know how you kind of follow your instincts sometimes. And this person said, T, when are you going to come to China? I said, I'll be there next year. He said, great. You can stay with me and my wife. I said, no problem. And I hung up the phone and I thought, wow, I'm getting ready to go to China, stay with someone I never met, and take my husband with me. And that's exactly what happened. We went to China. We stayed with this family who wound up producing my product for years. And, we had the time of our life. So sometimes one connection that you may have, you never know how it's going to connect to something else in your life. Totally different. It may not even be from that person.
Right. I know. I'm hoping you all can hear me. I've had some technical difficulties, but we want to roll right on. And Kiara, thank you. That's for saying, wow, that's something. And brave.
Thank you, Tara.
Yes, that is. Tanya, I wanted to ask you about what do you enjoy most about being a philanthropist? What brings you the most joy?
Just setting a goal for something and being able to accomplish it. Mm-hmm. Watching organizations have impact on so many people, and quite frankly, hopefully being an example to other young people to do the same. Actually, tomorrow, I also serve on NAWBO Excel, which is a nonprofit of our local NAWBO chapter. And we've adopted Oak Park schools. And so tomorrow we are going to mentor our young ladies. Tisha calls them our queens. I love it. We're going to mentor our queens tomorrow. Ooh. And we started this 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we started with our original goal was, okay, we're going to take these freshmen and we're going to mentor them all the way through high school until they graduate. Mm-hmm. So we started the program. The first year went great. The second year, the counselor said, well, we have some more ninth graders. Can they come? And we're like, sure. So every year we get a new crop of students. So it's continuous. But I just love watching these young women grow up. When we started with them, they were quiet. They were not really engaged because, young people want to know they can trust you. That's right. And number two, if you're going to be there. Uh-huh. And 4 years later, we go in. I mean, they're totally different. Right. blossomed.
Right.
And that is what gives me so much satisfaction, that I can see tangible results from the time I'm investing and committing to someone else.
Yes. I just really, you can see the joy you feel on your face when you talk
Yeah.
about it. I just know it just gives that back. And thank you, Trina. Trina says, thank you to you for your service and the community and beyond. And I think, Trina, that's the importance of what we've been talking about for these last few moments. And that is that, this whole boomerang effect,
Yeah.
that, the more you give, it does come back to you. And
Yeah.
then you get that joy and satisfaction, and then you want to give more. So, and so you get into the habit, you begin to practice it. It feels good. You're doing good. And this doing good helps you feel good.
Right. Absolutely.
And it just keeps, you put out and it comes back, and you just keep going. And it's that kind of energy that's important. Tanya, I wanted to share with you that I recently graduated from the Goldman Sachs.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes, it was a phenomenal business education
Yes.
experience. It was really, but one of the major things that we talked about, we studied, we had, professors and others come in and talk about, was the importance of social presence.
Yes.
The importance of entrepreneurs and those who have businesses being activists, being involved with the community. And it's referred to as social value. So what's the social value of your business? And we can relate it to us personally too. What's the social value of your life? And having an empowered life lets you do these things in the community. So I wanted to share that with you. And thank you, Leah, about lifting up how important it is to engage with young people, because that's another aspect of this boomerang effect.
Sure.
The young people that we help and grow, they learn because they see us and they learn it, and then we model it for them and they can model it for others.
Oh, absolutely. I told someone one time, that I wanted to be able to create jobs, and so that people could have a quality of life, take pride in, in what they do. I started off at, I don't know, many of you may remember Farmer Jack. And I tell my employees this. I was a cashier, but guess what? I was the best cashier. I made sure that my customers were taken care of. I made sure that I learned everything around me. And I tell them, no matter what job you have, take pride in it and learn as much as you can from that job. I mean, I tell people, think about it. As a cashier in a grocery store, I learned marketing.
That's right.
I learned customer service.
That's right.
I said, I had the best marketing school you could be. I said, can you imagine to watch a grocery store do an ad for, let's just say, we'll give you a free 5-pound bag of potatoes if you spend $5. And what do? We go in and spend $100 to get that 5-pound bag of potatoes. That's marketing.
That's right. And then you learned how to count that money too.
Oh, so no question.
Part of it as well.
I did that very well.
Well, Tanya, as you know, I just have enjoyed this conversation so much. I think you've given us so much as you talk about, having that kind, why you're in business. And again, asking ourselves constantly, why are we in what we in? Why do we do what we do? It just helps ground us and find that meaning. And clearly, your successful your success in business has been driven by motivated you're wanting to have this empowered life so that you'd be able to help others.
Oh, absolutely. And take care of yourself.
That's part of it.
That's a big part of it, because a lot of times women, we're the caretakers. We're everything, right?
Yes.
And as I've grown, I've learned that, Tanya, you have to take care of yourself too.
Yes.
And so that's why that morning is sacred to me. That's my time. And then I also take time to enjoy. I love to travel. I love to, that's a whole nother story.
Yes.
But I love to play.
It's part of the empowered lifestyle.
Right. And I love to play golf. And let me tell you.
That's why you're involved with First Tee.
Exactly. And that's why I'm married to my happy, because I actually met him on the golf course.
Now, see, that's a tip to everybody. You can go out there.
Tip, ladies. It's a tip, ladies. So, and I love it, because, we travel and we play golf everywhere we go. It's like, okay, we got to find a golf course. But I've met so many people and have been able to get access to business opportunities on the golf course. And so I tell business women, take the time to invest in activities like that will put you in the circles that you want to be in.
Such gems. See, and as we're closing here, she leaves us with, she's been giving us gems all throughout and just leaves us with that powerful one. Tanya R. Hill, thank you so much. Successful businesswoman, entrepreneur, philanthropist, community leader. Keep doing you and being a role model for all of us on how to live an empowered life.
Thank you.
We'll be talking to you soon. Wasn't that just a fantastic conversation? And so again, remember the gems that were dropped. Important to have a morning routine so you can start that day off real good. Boomerang effect, that, you put something out there, you get it back. Finding your purpose in a business and knowing that, in fact, there's more to life, so that you're running this business for what? Ask yourself that all the time so that you can keep that motivation in you and you can do the things you want to do. The importance of social value, being involved in your community, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're running a business, what you can learn and who you can meet on the golf course. Okay. All of these gems. It was just wonderful. And you see the joy that was in Tanya's face and the passion when she was talking about how she gives back. Again, more you give, that doing good, that kind of brings it all back to you and keeps it all going. So listen, go on out there and create that vibrant life. You deserve it. You can do it. Again, doing good for the community, doing good for yourself, doing good for others is part of that vibrant, empowered life. And in fact, you can do it. Thank you all to all of you who joined us today. Catch us on the replay. Don't forget, this is the holiday season. We're going to have much more coming back to you next time. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough will be my guest here in the Ignite to Impact studio. I am fabulous. So if you want to know anything about how to make some money and do it with wealth, and it's just not the coins, but it's your wealth of your mind, your spirit, your health, join us for that conversation. Love y'all. See you next time.